Alright, let's see. Hopefully this works. Alright, so we got that. Just gonna set up a couple things for myself. Bear with me, people. Alright, cool. Alright, so it's still going. Alright. Hey, I'm starting! Alright, let's take two. Alright guys, hi. So I had a little bit of technical difficulties while I was starting, and so I kind of had to restart the stream. So I will basically start from the beginning. So for those that were here, thank you for being patient and bear with me while I go through the whole process. So today, and for those who don't know me, my name is Fahim. I am your casual gamer by night, or by day as well, I guess. but basically, today what I'm gonna be doing is I'm actually gonna be playing a game. And I know I keep saying I'm a gamer, but like my content the past few weeks has been nothing about gaming and only about like discussing things, whether it be about U.S. presidents or about World of Warcraft expansions. But today I'm actually going to be streaming a game and playing it and talking through it and going through my thought process and everything. And the game that I'm playing is called Crusader Kings 3. Yep, thank you so much. But yeah, so basically this game I started playing in June, and it is a very deep, very immersive grand strategy game. And basically the purpose of the game is to create the strongest kingdom or empire before the year 1453, which is essentially when the Ottomans take over Constantinople. Yeah, it's very deep, it's very immersive. There's way more things that are in this game that would take me forever to talk about, basically. But yeah, essentially, the reason why I'm streaming Crusader Kings 3 and not a game like Warcraft, which is my my first love, is because I have a friend of mine. His name is Tim, and he's the one that actually suggested Crusader Kings 3. If I would stream it, because he's a gamer like myself. And he wanted to know more about Crusader Kings 3, because I told him about the game, and he's like, yeah, it sounds amazing and I want to play it. And I told him that I also stream on the side, and he's like, you know what, yeah, why don't you just stream Crusader Kings 3 on Friday or whatever. I'm like, you know what, yeah, I can do that. So shout out to Tim, he's the one that made the suggestion, and yeah, he's the reason why I'm gonna be playing Crusader Kings 3. And so basically what I'm going to be doing, and I'll explain more about the game as I'm starting off. So I'm going to start off a new game. And basically with this game, you can start off at one of 2 points. You can start off in 867 AD, or you can start off in 1066. With 1066, you have more of a technological advantage. So like you're more into the Middle Ages. 867, you're basically smack dab in the middle of the Dark Ages. So the technology is not as strong. Like you don't have as strong as soldiers or anything like that. However, there is much more land for you to conquer because you don't have empires that are well established. I mean, you have a couple like the Byzantine Empire, and the kingdoms of France, the West France Kingdom and East France Kingdom. But for the most part, it's made up of like counties and duchies, which again I'll explain more as I get into the game. But basically, you can like for example, 1066, you can start off as William the Conqueror, or as he's known initially, William the Bastard, because he hasn't conquered England yet. You can start off as King Harold Godwinson of England. You can start off as Harold Hardrada of Norway. So these are all historically accurate figures, and you can start off, and they're making suggestions for you, because these kingdoms or duchies or whatever, or empires, they're fairly easy to play. Like if you're new to the game, you have a lot of land, you have a lot of soldiers, so it's easy for you to conquer respective counties and duchies or whatever, and increase the size of your empire. So I will definitely say, it's whatever you want to decide on. And you can start off at different areas, different points, but usually the beginning points are either going to be 867 or 1066. uh, so yeah, you can start off in Ireland, I believe. You can start off in Bohemia, Tuscany, Toledo. Like you can start off pretty much wherever. And actually, on that note, um, so like for me, what I'm going to be starting off as, I'm going to be starting off in 867. That's where I'm going to be starting off at. I like going from all the way in the beginning to all the way at the end. My previous campaign, I started off in 867 as well, but I didn't get all the way to 1453, and that's mainly because I was started playing World of Warcraft again. Go figure. But yeah, so if you don't like any of these rulers, or you want more of a challenge, you can actually go here. Um, you could play as any ruler during that time frame, or you can even create your own ruler and pick which land your ruler is going to be playing in. So, and again, for my previous campaign, I essentially did the same thing. So as you can see right here, this is the map of the pretty much of the entire known world at the time. They don't have North America or pretty much the entire Western Hemisphere. They don't have any of that. At the time, we didn't know much, so it's hard to be historically accurate. But with the old world, with Europe, Asia, Africa, you did have some knowledge. So these are pretty much all the lands. And as you can see, there are a few huge pieces of land, like the Kyrgyz Khanate, the Khazarians, the Abbasid Empire, the Byzantine Empire, Bulgaria. There are a few big lands, but for the most part, you can pretty much start off from scratch and build your way to an enormous empire. And the beauty of this game is you can choose in which direction you want to build your empire. You can create a huge Mediterranean empire if you wanted to. You could create a huge Islamic empire, which is what I'm going to be doing. You could create, a huge Germanic empire. Like you're pretty much it's up to you, whatever you want to do. But for me, what I'm going to be doing, and I kind of already predetermined this, I kind of cheated a little. I'm going to be building an Islamic state, a singular Islamic state. And I know all of Western civilizations like, oh no, don't ever let don't ever let all the Muslims combine together into one singular state. But because this is a game, I'm going to be doing exactly that. So yeah, screw you, Western civilization. So where I'm going to be starting off at is the county of Akaf. And I know, I don't know if you've noticed this immediately, but there are some flags with little silver crowns, and there are some with like small crowns, and then there are those with like huge, royal crowns and whatnot. Those basically indicate like what type of land this is. So for mine is a county rank land, which is like the lowest level of land. And I'll explain more as I go into the game. I'll explain it more in detail and what this all means. But basically, what I'm going for, I'm going to be going for having just one county and trying to create a huge Islamic empire, a singular Islamic empire if I can. My goal is to try have an empire that encompasses all of the Abbasid Empire, all of the Byzantine Empire, most of North and East Africa, and the entire Persian region, which constitutes Iran, Iraq, parts of Afghanistan, I believe. So pretty much everything that I'm circling right now is everything that I'm going to be trying to go for. So I'm going to be starting off with this small ass county in the middle of the Arabian desert and seeing if I can, go hard in paint and build this amazing empire. But I will not be starting off with this guy as my ruler. The beauty of this game, you can also create your own ruler if you want. You can customize his design or her design. You can customize, their sexuality, whatever the case may be. Before I do that, though, I'm gonna set up the game rules. I'm gonna enable Iron Man, and basically with Iron Man, what it is, I only have one save file. If I make a mistake, I'm not going back. It is what it is. Like, the game's just gonna continuously save every time I make a move, but I can't, I can't have another save file with this specific game. So for this playthrough, I'm gonna be going, pretty much gonna be going hard in the paint. I'm gonna try and make it as challenging as I possibly can. I'm not gonna raise the difficulty because it's already challenging enough on normal. Maybe in a future campaign I'll go for a higher difficulty level. But for now, this is more of like a, for those that are new, this is more of a chance to explain the game, explain, the ins and outs, what I've discovered about the game. And I will say I am by no means a professional at this game. I am not like the best at this game, not even close. Again, I've only played one campaign. I didn't even complete that campaign, so I will definitely say it is fun. It is very immersive. It is a lot, but it is definitely a lot of fun to play, and you will find yourself losing a lot of time just playing this. Like, you'll play this game, and then you'll like look up and be like, "Oh crap! It's 6 o'clock. I have work." That's how immersive, that's how time consuming this game can be, and in the good way, like in the I'm having a lot of fun way. But yeah, basically I'm enabling Iron Man, basically keeping everything as default. There's nothing here that I need to change. The big one is to generate families. I want to be able to, find my own spouse, which is going to be one of the most important things to do in the start of the game. So I'm not going to generate a family, and that's going to increase the difficulty, because if my player character dies and I haven't married anyone or have a heir, then yeah, that's GG for me, and I have to start a new game from scratch. So yeah, I'm upping the difficulty for this. Yeah, same sex, sexuality, faith acceptance, randomized faith. That would be pretty interesting, changing the faith to where you have like a Christian faith in the middle of Arabia. That would be pretty funny, but I want to keep the Iron Man achievements thing, on. So I'm just trying keeping everything as the same as possible. The Hungarian migration, yeah, that's immediate. In the Scandinavian adventures, I don't have to worry about that, since I am nowhere near Russia or the North Sea. So I will apply that, and then I will go here. I will create my own ruler. So the sex is going to be male. Yeah, I know. Starting off males. My orientation is going to be heterosexual. And my faith, obviously, since I'm in the Middle East, I'm gonna be going as a Muslim, as Islamic, and because I'm also a Smiley in real life, my faith is gonna be Ismailism. And I know you guys see all of this: organized Muslim faith, head of faith, vacant. You see all of this stuff on jizya, taqiyya, struggle and submission. I'll explain all of that in detail as I start to play the game. But for now, I'm trying to explain as best I can about, about the grand features of the game before I get into the nitty-gritty details. For my culture, my ancestors themselves, I believe, are Iranian, and I think they were also Persian as well, from the Persian culture, because we did originate from the Afghani, Pakistani area, so I'll go with that. And my character's name, his name's gonna be Muhammad, since it's Muhammad. Yep, since it's gonna be I want to keep it as I guess religious as possible, and no better name than Muhammad, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And then for the dynasty, I'm gonna be naming it Safavid. Oops. Yeah. The reason I picked this particular name is because the Safavid Empire was an Islamic empire that was known for being multicultural and being very open to other cultures as well. So I think that would be a cool aspect of the game. And then down here is my actual dynastic coat of arms. So this is my own personal coat of arms for me and my family members in the game. And then this realm coat of arms is the flag that other nations will recognize me by, as I progress through the game. So for the dynastic one, I'm gonna change it to something a little bit more appealing to myself. Ooh, that looks good. Let's see. Ooh, yes, the red and white. Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that. And then for the flag, let's see. The European ones definitely had much better coat of arms. I'll definitely say that much. They had like dragons and bulls and tigers and stuff. I think Islamic coat of arms, if they even were a thing back then, were more practical. Um, let's see. And I don't want it the same as this, so I'm gonna try and have it somewhat different, but somewhat in style. Hmm. Let's see. You know what? That looks interesting. Yeah, let's do the six leaf clover one. Absolutely. Definitely let's do that. And that's my name, Count Muhammad Safavid of Cheatham of Akaf. And as I progress, I'll be able to rename my empire. Once I'm able to create an empire, I'll rename it to Safavid Empire. But of course, I can't do that right now since I only have one piece of land. And right here is the customization points. So these are the amount of points that are allocated to you uh, in order for you to build up your character. So for me, I'm gonna have my character at 16 years old. Look at that, fresh as a mug. His weight's really not that important. I mean, I guess make him look emaciated. I don't know. Make him huge, emaciated, huge, emaciated. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, there you go. All right. As for his education, so each ruler or each type of education has its own benefits and stuff. Uh, and I know this all looks pretty complicated. But for now, I'm gonna go with the Midas touch. Essentially, it helps. It increases my stewardship skills, which basically with stewardship skills, that you make your empire helps to make more money, and you're able to control more land directly. Which in my case, since I have a small piece of land and I plan on expanding a little bit with this current character, yeah, is probably pretty important. So I'm gonna go with that Midas touch. Go max out that. Let's see, personality. The personalities that if you're creating a character that you really want to go with, and because I am the smiley, I want to go with temperate. Two plus to stewardship, a small boost to health, so my character will live a little bit longer theoretically. And because it's virtuous to the smileys, the opinion of all the smileys are increased by 10 points, and the piety is +1 a month, which is pretty important because piety is one of the currencies that you use in the game. And again, I'll explain that as I actually start the game. So I'm going with temperate. Let's see what else. Another one is just. Just is a very good trait to have, a personality trait. And again, this is another one that's virtuous to the smileys, so I'll definitely get that one as well. And as you can see, there's point rankings and stuff. So obviously, lazy is not the greatest trait, so you get -10. So it does free up more customization points, but you have less traits. Diligent is another good one. It costs more because it gives you a lot of points to your diplomacy, your stewardship, your learning. So that's another good one. But the downside is that you get more stress, and when you get more stressed, your character can have mental breaks, and it can affect your character's health, and eventually they'll die earlier. So diligent is good, but it does have a severe drawback because you do take up more stress. Uh, Brave is good. If you want a more militaristic ruler. Let's see what else. Gregarious isn't bad either. Um, there's really no negatives to it, so that might be one I'd consider. Um, but I don't know, temperate and gregarious I wouldn't say two diametrically opposed personality traits, but I don't see how they're very similar either. Um, let's see, ambitious is good, but again, it's because you get a 1 point increase to all your stats, but you do increase more stress, and your lieges, the people, or your person that you're under, if you are part of a kingdom or whatever, uh, is lowered. What else? What else should I go for? Sadistic. Um, if you're more into intrigue and more into backstabbing and stuff, sadistic is a good personality trait to pick up. And I know, and I know this sounds kind of weird saying, yeah, pick up a sadistic trait. It's very good. It's like certain aspects, depending on who your ruler is at the time, certain traits are better than others. But since we're starting off from the beginning, traits like temperance and being just are pretty important. What else? You don't want to do chaste because it reduces your fertility, and of course, bringing an heir into this world is important because it allows you to continue the game. If you don't have a son or a daughter, whoever is going to rule the land to take over your land when you die, when your initial created character dies, then it's going to be game over for you, and then you have to start over. So, and again, like I said, once I actually start playing the game, it'll start to make more sense. But I think I'm gonna try and go for 3 personality traits. I think, you know what? As much as I'd want to avoid doing diligent, let's see, calm might be a good one. It's not as much of an increase, but it also doesn't cost as much points. Patient is another good one. Let's see. Humble. Brave, I wouldn't mind too much. That'd be another good one. But I don't plan on this guy being much of a martial leader anyway. So, you know what? I might do gregarious. Why not? Give me that little extra bit of diplomacy. Let's see here. And then other traits. Yeah, I don't need to worry about this right now. I could add these other traits, but a lot of these traits you earn in-game. I shouldn't say a lot of them, but specific traits you do earn in-game. Like I know, for example, the Eager Reveler, when you host feasts or whatever repeatedly, you end up getting this trait, and then it keeps increasing, as you do more feasts. So these are some that you get in game, so I'm not going to bother wasting my time trying to get that. So I'll ignore the other traits for now. I could theoretically do one that's not terrible and reduce my points, so I have more points to put into the skills. But yeah, the negative traits aren't worth it either. Like Disfigured would be a good one, but diplomacy, it reduces my diplomacy and reduces my fertility. Infirm is definitely one that you do not want. However, there is one trait that I do want, which is the quick trait. And the reason I want this specific trait is because it's congenital. And with congenital traits, it's basically traits that you can pass on to your offspring. They may not always get it, but they have a chance of getting it. Now, if you marry someone that has the same specific trait, this quick trait ends up becoming ends up becoming intelligent, which, as you can see, gives you a 3 plus plus stats to all your traits, which makes it one of the most broken abilities in the game, or makes it one of the most broken traits in the game. And if you're in the future, if you're lucky enough to have an intelligent ruler who marries an intelligent spouse, then it turns into genius, which, as you can see, yeah, it's just it gives your ruler an insane boost in their stats, and basically makes their skills very, very high. And your ruler ends up gaining skills as they progress through their rule. So that's kind of what I'm trying to. That's kind of what I'm going for. For now, I'll do quick, because it's very hard to find intelligent people in the beginning, and I want to save up my customization points for the rest of the skills. So, and I know that sounded kind of bad. Oh yeah, you can't find intelligent people. No, that's not what I meant, people. That's not what I meant. I'm gonna start off with the quick congenital trait. So, and ultimately what I want to do is have as many congenital traits from my progenies, or as my descendants, as I possibly can. If I have a descendant with their Herculean trait, which increases my prowess and gives me a huge boost to health, and they're also a genius, and they're hold on, where are they? And they're also beautiful, then yeah, great. I've hit the genetic jackpot, and there's a way for you to ensure that. And again, I'll explain that as the game progresses. So yeah, now down to the skills. So basically, for each of the skills, you have diplomacy, intrigue, martial, learning, stewardship, and prowess. Diplomacy is basically your character's ability to charm, negotiate, persuade, or talk to other rulers, influence their opinions of you. Diplomacy can be pretty useful because if you're a very charismatic, very diplomatic ruler, you can actually straight up vassalize a lot of the rulers that have a higher opinion of you. And if you have insane military strength, it makes trying to vassalize them much easier, for sure. But so diplomacy is a pretty good skill to have. Intrigue is also very good. And again, it's more, backstabbing, and someone with a ruler with a high intrigue skill is going to be hard, for other rulers to try and murder them. Which, oh yeah, by the way, in this game, you can actually go out of your way to murder other rulers, and they'll never know who did it. So that's, like I said, there's a lot to this game. And if I just sat down and talked about it without actually playing it, yeah, it would probably take like 2-3 streams. And that's how much stuff is in this game. Martial makes sense, obviously. Commanding armies, increasing the amount of men you can have in your army, increasing the amount of champions or knights you can have in your army, and that's pretty important if you want to take over land directly, conquer them. But again, there are different ways of conquering land. But martial skill is usually the one that people go for the most. Learning is basically it measures their literacy and wisdom, and with learning, you basically a ruler with high learning will be able to research technologies faster. Now, researching technology in this game works differently than what you would know from like games like Civ 6 or whatever. It's not like you click a technology, you research it, and in a few years it's done. Because we are in the dark ages in 867, the researching of technologies takes a little bit more time than it would in like Civilization 6. But once I pull up the game screen itself, it'll make sense. Stewardship is the ability of rulers to manage their domains and to tax people. It is very useful. It's the one that I'm going to be emphasizing with this particular guy, because when I do take over the lands, I want to be able to rule it directly without having to divvy up the lands. And you'll notice as you progress through the game and your lands get bigger and bigger and bigger, you're gonna have to divvy up your lands. You can only hold so much land, but if you have a ruler with a high stewardship skill, you can actually hold more land personally, and you won't have to divvy up as much. even then, even with a high stewardship skill, you will still have to divvy up land to your vassals and stuff. And with vassals, I'll also explain that as well. And then prowess is just like when you're actually fighting in combat. Is the higher the prowess, the better the person is in actual combat. So you can have like excellent commanders, excellent military commanders as your vassals, but they may have terrible prowess. Very rarely the case, but basically you want them commanding an army. You don't want them actually fighting. And there's also a way for you to make sure that your ruler never fights in these battles. Obviously, it sucks. It would suck if you have a ruler who goes to a war. He hasn't had a son or daughter yet to take over his or her throne, and they die before they even get a chance to have that heir, and it'd be game over pretty fast. Prowess is important, but for my guy, I'm not gonna have him fighting in a lot. I'm not gonna have him fighting in wars directly, if that makes sense. Like I'm not gonna be having him in the front lines, so I'm not gonna emphasize prowess as much. With my future descendants, maybe some of them will become military commanders, or more militarily inclined. Then yeah, maybe I'd focus on prowess more and allow them to battle. But yeah, if you increase your prowess, it can increase your muscle mass, which I don't really care. I mean, visually it's awesome, but for the most part, your prowess will increase as you progress through your as you progress through your rule. So for my skills, I'm gonna try stewardship is excellent. I'm gonna try and allocate. I'm gonna try and make him a more well-rounded leader if I possibly can. So with diplomacy, average diplomat. Let's see. Average marshal. I don't really care about intrigue in the initial game so far. I'm not looking to backstab anyone yet. Learning, I do kind of want him to be average because I do want to research the technologies faster if I can. Prowess, I guess I could have decent prowess. There you go. Average diplomat, average commander, average learning, excellent steward. So when I do conquer these lands, I'll be able to hold more of it myself. And then once I have a strong base, then I can start divvying up the lands. And I'll explain the whole concept of divvying up lands and all of that once I actually get into the game. But for now, I have everything that I want. Finalize it. Yes. All right. So as you can see, he's a rational paragon, which just basically indicates the type of person that he is. There are some rulers that are like, oh, evil paragon or evil like atheist or whatever. Those types of personalities, they'll influence how they deal with you and stuff like that. But for now, so rational paragon. Of course, I'm unmarried. I'm located in Akaf right here. Ismaili, Persian, even though I'm in the Arabic region. It's funny as hell, but sure, let's go with that. Difficulty's normal. Game rules, I created him already. Let's see. And it's 867 and a half. So I'm going to start off here. I'm going to try and take over these lands right here. And then eventually conquer this entire region if I can. And I'm going to be... so my plan is, when I start the game, my plan is to stream every Friday for an hour. From 8 to 9, maybe from 9 to 10 I might switch up the schedule. I don't know yet, but I'll be streaming for just that hour. I'm gonna try and keep the gameplay. I'm not gonna have these long videos like I had for the first couple things that I streamed about. I know some of you guys remembered me talking for like 4 hours straight about the U.S. presidents. I'm not gonna be doing that for Crusader Kings 3 like that. Nah, that's too much. So I'm gonna limit myself to an hour. So yeah, for now I'm gonna so temperate, just gregarious, yeah. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. And I'm gonna create this. I already created one before, but I'm just gonna actually rise of the Safavid Empire. There we go. All right, so now I can actually start playing the game. Let's see, and I already got like half an hour left. So basically, this is the map that you see in the game when you first start off playing. First thing that you want to do when you're playing this game, um, you wanna go up to the suggestion and see suggestion recruit men at arms regiment, which I can take care of that later in the military panel. But what you really want to do is go to the decisions right here, and you can see all the major decisions. One is you can found a holy order. You can adopt clan ways. Basically, it means you can change your government type by adopting feudalism. Um, you can strengthen the bloodline. These are all like major decisions that you can make. Um, and right down here are like the actual like day to day or month to month, year to year decisions that you can make in game. So like one of the first things that I try to do in the game that I did last time is finding a physician. Or right here, yeah, here it is. So search for a physician, a court physician, because obviously with this court physician, if any of your champions and your soldiers, or if you as a ruler are fighting, you kind of want a court physician to be able to heal the wounds and make sure that they don't die. If you can find a good court physician that's really renowned or becomes renowned, then you have an advantage of keeping your men alive. So I'm gonna start the search for that. And also, you probably noticed this: the game's paused for you directly, so you're not starting off immediately. It does that so you can actually take a look and seeing what you can do. So like I said, I usually go to the decisions. So like if I go for calling a hunt, I can lose stress, which is this thing right here. So with stress, so every 100 stress that a character gets, it gives them 1 stress level, and every time you get a stress level, you have a mental break, which can affect your fertility, your health. Your Obviously, if your fertility is affected, it'll be harder for you to have kids. And if your health is affected, it'll be harder for you to live longer and have a long reign. I think the worst I ever got to was like at the level 3 mental break, which almost made my character go insane, but I was able to reduce his stress, which when you do stuff like going on hunts and stuff, you can actually lose that stress and reduce your stress levels. And if you can get it down to what it is right now, you don't have those fertility issues, you don't have any health issues. It's kind of like real life when if you're stressed, you're not really going to be thinking about having fun, if you know what I mean, or or not taking care of your health as much because you are stressed about things in life. The other thing that I do first is inviting Aswarians, or if you're doing the European lands or whatever, it's inviting champions. You want to do this because you want men with 12 or more prowess. You want these men to fight in your wars for you. When you get these men to fight in wars for you, it helps you to win said wars and helps you to conquer land. The more the more men you have. So basically, Aswarians right now, I don't have any champions whatsoever. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Maximum number. Yeah, let's see. So I do have a guest in my court that I can recruit as a champion, as a knight. So this Aswarians or champions, they basically function as your knights. The more knights you have, the stronger, the more prowess your knights have, the stronger they are. Basically means the stronger they are, the more they're able to fight and win those battles. You can essentially have a smaller army with an elite group of knights, and they'll be able to win a fight with an army that has more men but less amount of champions or knights. So that's the other thing that I do. Invite them, and it costs 150 prestige. So if you look up here, there are 4 things that you can focus on, or 4 things that are very important in terms of like spending and accumulating. This one right here, 31, that's your monthly income, or that's your gold, the amount of gold you have right now, and my monthly income is 1.8 1.8 gold a month. That's from my domain of Akaf down here. That's how much I get from my main domain. Uh, Obviously, that's pretty straightforward. Gold is essentially what you use to, purchase mercenaries or, do other things. But in the early game, what you really use to actually purchase things, for example, the Asrans are prestige and piety, and also renown. But renown's more to do with like family stuff. So prestige is really the main thing. Essentially, my prestige is 0.69 a month. I get 0.06 because I'm a house head, 0.03 a month because I'm a dynasty head, 0.05 because I hold one county, 0.35 in foreign affairs. So, and my diplomacy is decent, so I get a 1% boost to my prestige. So with prestige, like I said, you can spend it on worldly matters depending on government form, doctrines, etc. And every time you gain a level of fame, it boosts people's opinion of you and allows you to recruit more knights, more Aswarans for you. So again, for this one, it only costs 150 prestige. I have 450, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Send the herald out. Let's see. So if I adopt the culture, I can choose to adopt the culture of my land, and that'll allow me to adopt the Bedouin culture. But I'm not going to do that because I want to remain in a Smiley, and eventually I'm going to turn this entire county into Smiley and basically have this entire region become a Smiley as well. The other thing is going on a pilgrimage. You can go to your faith's holy sites. The further you travel, the more piety you get, which again, piety can be used to spend on on your family tree, on your dynasty tree, which again, I'll show you that as well. But it does cost a good amount of gold to do so. So and that's not something I'm focused on right now. Another thing I can do is undertake the Hajj, which, I'll gain the trait Haji, which will increase my piety by 10% and increase my same faith opinion by +5. And then I'll also gain 375 piety. And because my faith has the struggle and submission tenet, the same faith opinions increased by 10. And with some of these things, you can do them again for a few years. In this case, for the inviting the champions, I can't invite any more champions for 10 more years. For the physician, I can't invite any more for the next year. And for the Hajj, I wouldn't be able to do it for the next 15 years. Unfortunately, I don't have the money to do that right now, so I can't increase it. But once I get 100 gold, I should be able to do it. I can also host a feast. Again, this is also a stress reducer. And that's something I can do like every 5 years. It also increases, people's opinions of you. So it's very useful to if you have powerful vassals that are dissatisfied with you, hosting a feast will, increase their opinion of you and basically, prevent them from rebelling against you. So that's the first thing I do. I invite the champions and I search for a physician. So now to explain a lot of the stuff that you see here. Like I mentioned before, 31 is the amount of gold that I have. I have 31 gold. I have 300 prestige now. And again, prestige you use to spend on government form, doctrines, yada yada yada. Piety, you can build up piety to change the doctrines of your faith. So if you want to create a new organized religion from scratch, so if you click on it, it pulls up your current faith right now. Ismailism is an organized Muslim faith, and these are its current tenets. Now, if you want to create a new Muslim faith, you can go here, click the new Muslim faith, and then you can change the tenets. But as you can see right here, the cost is insane. It costs 2,300 piety, And as of right now, the tenets that I have for my religion, they're decent. There's no need for me to change them. Um, Especially the jizya one, because it does allow me to tax my domain. It gives me a 20% increase in taxes in my domain, and I can levy more armies if they're the same faith, or I can levy counties uh, that have the same faith I do. Um, and the downside is if they're of a different faith, then the levy rate's kind of lowered. And with levying, I'll explain that as well. Um, so piety you can use to like change the tenets of your religion. Renown is what you use to spend on your dynasty. Actually, did I click prestige? Hold on 1 second. Yeah, piety. I clicked that. So renown is what is used to purchase dynasty legacies, essentially. So these dynasty legacies, you can choose to focus on specific things. Like if you want your dynasty to be more militaristic, you can go with warfare. So like the first one would be increasing your prowess for all your dynastic members by 2, and increasing the effectiveness of your knights by 15%. If you want your dynasty to be more about law and administration, then the first one's like popular opinion. The hunt and feast cost is 30% less gold. So it varies. What I'm going to be going with, and I've already decided on this because it's pretty much broken, is going with blood. Careful breeding to produce the most worthy successors. That's right, baby. I'm going to be breeding super geniuses, Herculean geniuses, beautiful geniuses, all of the geniuses. So basically with blood, the first trait, the first thing that you could get is noble veins. The chance of inheriting good congenital traits is increased by 30%, and the chance of new good congenital traits is also increased by 30%. So you can actually have a child that may be like the child that I have. If I had this particular legacy, my child that I have, he or she may be quick, but there's a chance that they may get the robust congenital trait. Their chances of that is increased. So that's definitely something that they can get themselves. And as you go down the tree, you can get better and better, legacies for your dynasty. The next one is chance of reinforcing your congenital traits by 30. You increase it by 30%, and then resilient bloodline. The chance of inheriting bad congenital traits is reduced by 30%, and the chance of new bad congenital traits are minus 30%. So, if you're a ruler, or if you choose to play the incest game and you want to marry within your bloodline, you won't be as affected, if you have this particular dynasty legacy. I'm gonna try and avoid the whole incest for the wincest, but there's my dynasty hopefully will expand so much that there may be situations where I end up marrying, distant cousins to one another because they have really good traits, or I shouldn't say because of the traits, because I might want to establish military alliances. And again, I'll go into that as well. Architected ancestry, select the congenital trait to become more common in a dynasty. So once I get to this point, I can pick which dynasty I want to emphasize, which in my case will probably be genius, because it gives you 5 for each of your main stats. And then, once you get to this, octogenarian, your life expectancy is increased by 5 years. So your ruler will be living, pretty much all your family members will be living a long time. All your dynasty family members will be living a long time. You have guile, which if you want to focus on more intrigue, increase your dread, basically how feared you are. Increase your hostile scheme success chances. There's different ways, there's different legacies that you can choose to go for, but this is like the overarching aspect of your dynasty. This is what this is for your entire dynasty to benefit from, whether it's your direct descendants or whether it's like distant family members, they're all, if they're part of your dynasty, they're all going to benefit from this, from these legacies. Uh, so yeah, even the bastardized child will still have will still benefit from these legacies. Um, so yeah, so that's what you can use to spend your renown on. And as your as you level up, for each of these you can level up. They even show you the levels: disgrace, establish, distinguish, and you can see like the maximum amount of level of fame. Your All your vassals have a plus 20 opinion of you. Yeah, and the number of knights that you can have is +4, but that's if you get to the highest level of fame. So obviously you want to do whatever you can to increase your prestige, your piety, your renown. Um, you want to increase your prestige so that you can have a stronger military. You want to increase your piety, so hold on 1 second. Oops. So you can increase your subjects' opinions of you, even more so if you decide to change religions. And then you want to have increased renown, so that way your children can gain prestige from the beginning, and when they do take over and they do rule themselves, they have a lot of prestige to work with, and they can spend that prestige to enhance their rule. But as I progress through the game, you'll see these numbers going up or down depending on the situation. This right here tells me the amount of soldiers that I have. As you can see, I have a lot of soldiers. 305 bleeping soldiers. 305 soldiers. That's, yeah. So, and levies basically mean how many soldiers I can get from my hold on, let me go to, oops. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, let me go ahead and go. So levies, that's pretty much from this piece of land I can levy 305 soldiers. That's my current military strength right now, which is not a whole lot. Like, this dude next to me has 412, so if I try to fight him right now, I would probably lose. So I have to build up my military strength, and my army is low quality since I don't have any knights or men at arms or whatever the case may be. So domain holdings, that's this number 1 is the amount of domain holdings that I have. The 6 is the maximum amount that I can hold personally. So because I have a high stewardship skill, it increases my domain limit by 3. So because I'm a count, and I have the civic innovation ledger, which increases my domain limit by 1, plus the 3 from my stewardship skill, it allows me to hold 6 holdings personally, this is why I wanted to do this, because I wanted to be able to hold this land personally, and then once I start expanding, then I can focus on rulers that are more diplomatic or more militaristic or more intrigue based than stewardship based. But being a good steward now, I feel like would be important for me to have a stable base to work from. So that's pretty much that's pretty much all the land that I can hold. Like, the 1 is how much I have, and the 6 is how much I can hold personally. And then if you guys notice, this right here is pretty much let's see how much time. Oh wow, 7 minutes left. Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm gonna make an executive decision because I actually haven't played the game. I've done so much explaining. I haven't actually played it. I'm actually gonna extend this for like another 30 minutes, only because I want to play through the game and want you guys to see what the game looks like. So this right here is the realm. Basically, it pulls up all the it pulls up your entire domain. So right now I have the chiefdom of Akaf as the only land I have. I don't have any vassals right now. I don't have any people under my foot, obviously, since I only have 1 piece of land. And as for succession, basically what this game is interesting, and it can be very confusing because of the succession laws. So essentially, every ruler has a main succession law that determines what happens to their titles on succession, which again, what happens when this guy dies and I have children to take over. Um, so the current succession law I have is Confederate partition. Basically, what this is between all your sons, all titles held by the late ruler will be divided amongst their eligible children, with the player heir always being given the primary title, the realm capital, and any other direct de jure bylaw titles associated with it. So like if you have, if I have one child, um, if I have one child, when he dies, my child will inherit all the territories that I conquered or have. If I have two children, um, basically my first child, which is my player heir, he will have a Goth and he will have, one or two more pieces of land, and my other son will have, maybe another one, two pieces of land. The problem with this particular brand of succession, is that your empire starts to split repeatedly. So like, if I want to maintain one huge empire, it's gonna be very difficult for me to do so if I have multiple sons. Now there is a way to get around that, which next time I play this game I'll explain. Um, but it's not the best way. It's a solution I found as I was playing the game. Um, but it's the Confederate partition is the succession law that literally every ruler starts off with, or every person starts off with when they play this game. Um, let's see, and you can change it as you progress, through the game, as you get the technologies to unlock a lot of these, succession laws. So right now, if I wanted to switch to partition, I don't have the limited crown authority, which is the right here, the tribal authority, which I'll explain that as well. Um, I don't have the hereditary rule innovation, so I can't change my my succession law even if I wanted to right now. Ultimately, once you get to single realm here, it becomes more, like what we see with the eldest son getting, all of the land, which is primogenitor, or the ultimate which is where the youngest son gets all of the land. So obviously, once you get to this, the game's pretty simple. But until you do, Confederate partition presents a whole host of problems because you have to split the land between your eligible children. So, and like I said, there is a way around that, but that's something I'll explain when I, continue playing the game. So yeah, tribal authority. Basically, it just represents the general influence that the ruler has over their vassals. Um, so compared to the crown authority, it doesn't provide as many powers, and it also provides it at later levels. But because I'm starting in 867, this is what I have to work with. So if I do pass limited trial authority, I can imprison characters, and tribal rulers with non-tribal lieges may settle, becoming feudal or clan. So this will allow me to, work towards becoming a more feudalistic ruler. So, and if I want to switch to this, it's going to cost me 208 prestige, which I have plenty of prestige to work with, and I make plenty of prestige per month. So I can go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then gender law, of course, same thing. You can change. So like I can do male preference. So um, so yeah. So pretty basic. Male only males can rule, or male preferences. Males can rule, with exceptions. If there's no males, then female can take over. Equal is males or females can rule. Pretty straightforward. But for now, I'm not going to change that. I'm going to leave it as is. I don't have a designated heir. As you can see, I don't have an heir. And if I die, the game will end, and I'll have to start over from scratch. So yeah, that's something one of the most important things to do when you're starting off in this game is marrying and having a son as quickly as possible. In this game, even shows you no player heir. None of your titles stand to be inherited by an heir of your dynasty. And if I don't have an heir, the game will be over. I haven't picked a specific lifestyle, and I'll get to that once I'm done explaining the basics. So the council is basically all of the people that make up your council. And ideally with the council, you want to have people that have very high skills pertaining to their position. So for example, a chancellor is your diplomatic representative. My chancellor has a very poor diplomacy skill. So what I can choose to do, I can choose to sort by, let's see, diplomacy. Let's see. Where is, yes. So yeah, my current chancellor has the best diplomacy skill right here, so I can't replace him, unfortunately. So I'm gonna have to deal with the fact that my chancellor has poor diplomatic skill, which will not help me in terms of influencing foreign rulers' opinions of me. Steward, he's the counselor in charge of domain administration, for example, matters of taxation, culture, and development. He's an average steward, which is okay. I can work with that. And again, when you start off in the game, you're not going to have like an amazing council. As a ruler, you kind of want to build towards. Oops, hold on, let me stop that. I'm going to set a timer for an extra 30 minutes. Yeah, I plan on this being an hour, but with like how much stuff I have to explain. Yeah, I think I'm gonna extend it like another 30 minutes or so. So my steward, again, the steward that I currently have has the best stewardship skill, so there's no point in replacing him. Marshal is your chief commander. So if I wanted to change my marshal, again, he's the one that has the best skill. So yeah, right now, a lot of my council members or a lot of my vassals, they don't like me. They have a low opinion of me, and mainly because, for one, I am a hostile religion, and my reign is pretty short, and that usually happens with rulers that just take over, and that particular that penalty that decays over time. So I'm not worried about that. The longer my character runs things, the lower that number will be. And then my spy master is in charge of matters of intrigue and intelligence. Obviously, you want a good spy master and a loyal spy master, because if you have a spy master that has a low opinion of you, which currently she doesn't have the greatest opinion of me, but it's not enough to like want to kill me. If they have a low opinion of you, they can take part in hostile schemes, or they can work with foreign rulers in hostile schemes to have me killed, and that's pretty much the end of the game for me. So let's see here. So yeah, she's the best spy master I can currently have right now. So right now my council is what it is. I'm not gonna have a great council in the beginning, but as the game progresses, I can have better council members. I can even appoint my own family members to council positions, especially if they're powerful vassals in their own right and they have a lot of land themselves, and I want to keep them happy. And if they have a lot of skill for what I'm looking for in a council, then I'll appoint them to these positions. But for now, I have to rely on these vassals. My imam, my faith person, I guess, if that makes sense. He has a good learning skill, so my technology, researching technologies will be much quicker. So that's pretty much the council. My court basically is people that are in my actual court right now. Guests are people that are just there in your court, but they're not like part of your actual court. They're just there visiting. This gentleman right here, Musa Faradin, he's a godless planner. He has a decent amount of prowess. He's not a great commander, But as a soldier, he could work. So what I can do, I can right click on him. I can choose to recruit to court, have him as my courtier. And when I do that, I only have to pay 3 gold, to get him to my court. He gains 50 opinion of me, and he becomes my courtier. And what that means, he's now a member of my court. What that means is he can go to my military. He can become a champion, and he has the highest prowess. So as a soldier, he's great. I can fight with him. I will never let him command an army because his martial skill is terrible. But as a knight, he's a perfect, just throw him in there, see what happens. So I've recruited him as well. So pretty much these are all my courtiers. Basically, these are all unlanded characters who's serving me in my court. Right now, they all don't like me, but again, that's mainly because I'm part of a faith of people that's not the same faith as all these people here. So that's something I'm gonna have to work with, which is fine. I can work with that. So yeah, like, and all these people have like different skills and stuff. Some are more inclined towards learning. Like this one has a decent learning skill, and she's a mastermind philosopher. So yeah. So again, your court's just the people that are in your court, literally. Intrigue. Basically, intrigue, what this is you can start hostile schemes that allow you to cause harm to a character. Like if you want to take out a ruler, because this, the next person in succession may be part of your dynasty, and you can basically take over that land. You can do a murder scheme. You can do abduction schemes, or you can kidnap said ruler and hold him or her hostage. You can even end wars like that because you've abducted the the main player in the war. And if you're in a losing war, the abduction scheme works because, like I said, if you abduct him, he's in your prison, then the war is going to be over because the main person that's the main person in that war is no longer able to fight. You can claim the throne. You can fabricate a hook, and hooks are complicated for the most part, but as the game progresses, I can explain. Well, I guess I can explain what they are. Basically, a hook is just a general term for a relationship between characters, where one can get the other to do their will. So there's 2 types. You have weak hooks and you have strong hooks. Weak hooks are like basic favors, like, oh yeah, I want to increase attacks in a specific domain. I can use, if I have a weak hook on a person, or basically they owe me a favor, I can use that weak hook to increase their taxes, no questions asked. A strong hook is really powerful, and it can help to sway situations that may be unfavorable to you. And when I'm playing the game, I'll actually talk about the specific time in my previous campaign where a strong hook actually saved me from a disastrous situation. But yeah, strong hooks can be really, really powerful, and I'll explain that in more detail as the game progresses. You can do personal schemes where you can befriend other rulers. You can befriend your family members. This helps to prevent them from rebelling against you, because if they rebel against you, and if you have low military power, well, guess what? They're just going to take over your lands, and that's GG for you as well. So you kind of want to blend both hostility and charm, so that way you can befriend the people that are powerful and that won't rebel against you, but you also want to take out the people that could be a threat in the future, and prevent them from taking over your lands if they have the military capability of doing so. And then down here you can discover schemes that other rulers or other people are plotting against you, and if you discover it, then that scheme has a less chance of happening. It's like if you discover if a ruler or someone in your court wants to kill you, then their chances of actually doing that is going to be basically nothing because you know about the scheme. Um, right now, I don't have any hooks. Obviously, I just started the game, so I'm not going to. Um, so yeah, intrigue can be pretty powerful if you know how to use it. And I'm not claiming I do, but it's definitely. So yeah, factions is just people that rise up against you for specific reasons, whether they want less tax on their lands, or worse, they want independence from you and they want their own land. Basically, you're going to be going to this a lot as you conquer lands because people that you conquer they may not want to be ruled by you because you're of a different faith or whatever the case may be. Obviously, you want to keep this as low as possible. And if a specific faction gets to a certain power, certain military power, which I can't show you right now since I'm starting the game, if they get to a certain point in their military power, they can demand an ultimatum. And if you refuse their ultimatum, then they basically go to war against you. And now you have to deal with that. Now you have to deal with people rebelling against you, and now you have to put that rebellion down. But once you do, then that faction is gone, and they're no longer a threat. And the best part is they will not be able to go against you for the next 10 years. So once you defeat them, you don't have to worry about them for the next 10 years, which in this game is a long, long time to, make amends. And then lastly was the decisions, which I already showed you. So the other thing that I want to discuss and talk about, or ensure that I do, is getting married. First and foremost, I want to get married to someone. Obvious. What the hell? Sad? Baby, why are you so sad? Why are you so sad? I've never seen that before. But I think I found a wife. So basically, this woman, Shakun, she's chaste. Damn it, man. Why you gotta be chaste? Her fertility's lower, so it's gonna be harder for me to have kids with her. But she's an insanely good steward. She has pretty decent intrigue, and her learning's pretty good. And she has high prowess. But now that I'm thinking about it, and also she has the quick trait, which remember when I was telling you about like how, if you marry a woman that has the same trait, or if you marry a spouse that has the same trait that you do, well, guess what? As both parents have this trait, it will get inherited. This trait might intensify, resulting in intelligent. So your kids will for sure get the quick trait, but they also have a chance of getting the intelligent trait, which is the next level. But unfortunately, she is chaste, which is going to make it harder for me to, have kids with her. What I can do... let's see here. She's a villain. Heck yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Her diplomacy is okay. She's a poor steward, but she's really good on intrigue, which could work to my benefit. Her learning's poor. I don't have to worry about her, being non-fertile, I guess, if that makes sense. I'll pass on that. Hold on, let me see. If you're looking for a specific trait, like if you're looking for a congenital trait, what you can do is toggle filters. You can go to traits and you can go to inheritable traits, and it'll pull up all the congenital traits, or all the females that have congenital traits that you can choose to marry. So in this case, there are quite a few women that actually have congenital traits. So now it's a matter of finding the one for me, finding my significant other. Let's see. She's an excellent steward. She's a righteous antagonist. But she has the quick trait. She's a flamboyant trickster. Let's see. Let's see. I don't know if someone can be ambitious and lazy. Well, I guess. Let's see. So, again, currently what I'm looking for is someone with the quick trait, because that'll mean my kids are intelligent. Well, they'll have a chance to be intelligent, or they'll have a chance to be quick. But there is a chance for either or. Let's see. Trusting, vengeful, greedy, vindictive, ravener. And you don't necessarily have to go with the quick trait. It just, like, I can go with this particular trait, Hail, which increases the prowess, or increases her prowess and gives her a small health boost. That'll ensure that my kids have a chance to have. There's a chance if I go with this particular trait that they can get one or the other, or they may even get both. So, you know, there's definitely a chance for that as well. But let me see. Such a villain. Righteous antagonist. Shamim. Rashona. Let's see. Rational lackey. Okay, so she's a good diplomat. She's not the greatest plotter. She's terrible. But it's okay. I'm not worried. So when I'm marrying a significant other, I'm not worried about their prowess so much, because they're never going to be in battle anyway. So I don't really care about their prowess. What you want to look for is someone that kind of highlights your weaknesses. So in this case, like, I'm not the greatest diplomat, or, you know, I'm not the greatest in intrigue. So where was she? You know, she's pretty good at diplomacy, and she has decent intrigue. Not as good as me, but, you know, I can marry her. She's arrogant, shy, generous. I mean, let's see. Follow up. Oh, she's bisexual. Not the greatest traits. Let's see, Rashana. How many Rashanas are there in this game? Jesus. Let's see. She's sadistic, of course. And there's other congenital traits, like one in particular is fecund, which increases the fertility by 50%, and the life expectancy is +5. So basically, you'll have a lot of kids, you'll have a long time. So that could be another one that I choose to go with. Let's see. All right, more military based. Let's see how much time. Let's see. So I got a few more minutes before I'm gonna have to stop here, but yeah, I know it was a lot of explaining, but it's definitely something to keep in mind as I progress through this game. And once I start playing the game, I'll be able to explain in better detail a lot of the stuff that's going on. I mean, I guess I could go with Shiko, because she's a very good steward, and her learning and intrigue are pretty good. She's worthy. It's just her fertility is gonna be if she wasn't chaste, then yeah, I could easily have you know what? I don't know. Should I take that risk though? Vindictive Ravener. Let's see. Just vengeful, ambitious. I mean, and looking at my council, so basically when I have a spouse here, I can have her choose to, you know, help out the entire council, or I could have her focus on one thing. So I have a spouse with a good diplomacy skill. I can help out this chancellor who's pretty, you know, who's garbage. Well, actually, no, I'm sorry. I take that back. A spouse with a good, you know, diplomacy skill would, you know, increase your own personal diplomacy. So like, for example, if if I want to increase my diplomacy even more, then I want to go with a spouse that has, a good amount of diplomacy, which I think was, yeah, Shazada. Like, I would want to marry her because she has good diplomacy, which, I don't know, man. Shiko sounds like a good option, but like, Turan is also another decent option. Yes, she's a villain, but I don't think she would go against me too much. And she has good intrigue, so it could boost my own intrigue skill if I wanted to, and her diplomacy is decent as well, so that could also make me a better diplomat. So I think I'll go with Turan. I'll marry her, and she's also Persian as well. She's part of the same culture I am, so it'll make things easier. And with this proposal, she'll for sure marry. Let's see, make sure. Attraction. Yep. All right. So there you go. Oh yes. Last thing I got to talk about for now is the lifestyle choice. So because I am stewardship inclined, because of my stewardship experience or education, I'll get 40% more experience in lifestyle. So basically what lifestyles are is which way you want your ruler to go about doing things. If you want him to be more of a stewardship or more of an administrator, then you go with stewardship. And you have specific focuses that you could focus on. Wealth, a wealth focus will basically increase your monthly income by 10%, which could be pretty helpful. Domain focus just increases your stewardship by another 3, which allows me to hold on to my land more. And then duty basically prevents me accepting enemy agents, if I'm not mistaken. Increases the courtier and guest opinions of me by plus 20, which actually might work in my particular situation. And increases my stewardship by plus 1. If I go with the wealth, my monthly income will be higher, but that 20 plus 20 courtier and guest opinion. Let's see. Because I could always do duty focus and then focus on an architect, which collecting the taxes makes it more effective. Yada yada yada. So like with the focuses, they also have trees based on each of those focuses. Like wealth focus goes well with the Avicarius tree, domain focus, architect, duty focus, administrator, yada yada. But in this case, yeah, I don't know. This is a tough one. My first major decision, honestly, other than marrying. Let's see. I think I'll go with yeah, I think I'll go with duty focus because generating wealth right now is not as important since you only have one piece of land. So I think I'll go with duty focus for now. Let's see. All right, so yeah. So now that I picked that particular focus, my council should start to have better opinions of me. Before they're like in the negative 20s and stuff like that. Now my spy master may not want to kill me, and my steward has a more positive opinion of me, and also my court imam will endorse me, which will allow me to collect more in taxes and stuff. Because if you have a imam or a religious person that doesn't endorse you at all, you can't collect as much taxes because the people in those lands don't see you as a legitimate person or ruler to have you collect taxes from them, if that makes sense. Um, so yeah, so I've pretty much taken care of all the major details. I don't have a player error for now, obviously, since I'm just now getting married. I have too few spouses. Uh, so let's see. So I have too few spouses. Apparently, with in my religion, in Islam, you can marry, more than once. You can have up to 4 wives, as a lot of people like to ask me. but yeah, for now, I'm not worried about that too much. I can declare wars with all these people. So I can declare war with Yamani right here. I can declare war with Hadramaut, and I can declare a war with Mara. Right now, I don't want to because they have stronger armies than I do, and I have to recruit champions. Once I'm able to recruit the Aswarans and build up my military a little bit more, then I should be able to go to war. But for now, I don't have to. I don't have to worry about that too much. The other route I could have gone with finding a spouse. I could have found a spouse that had a strong, that was part of a dynasty that had a strong military. Because essentially, when you do that, you basically secure the alliance when you marry. So, like for example, if I did this by, hold on, let me just do all. Right now, because I'm at the bottom of the barrel, I don't have like any prestige whatsoever, really. All the women that are available to me are all low class. Not like that, but they don't have any lands or anything, so marrying them would offer no military alliances of any sort whatsoever. So in this case, I'm free to marry who I want. I've already, decided on who I want to marry. And I'm marrying her mainly because she provides the quick congenital trait. And this way, I can have a child that's intelligent or quick. So their stats will be higher than mine eventually once they reach adulthood. And I kind of want to have, descendants that are, building off on previous descendants or previous ancestors. So for now, let's see how much time I got left. I got couple minutes left. So I'll just play through just to give you guys like a glimpse of what's going on. So right here is the game speed, so I can adjust it to like very slow, or normal speed. Normal speed, the days will fly by. So if I play it, as you can see, it's going. So there you go. Chiefess Turon of Akaf, she's now my wife, and she accepts my hand in marriage. And now I have a wife. And now if I click, there's my spouse. So now now that I've married her, hopefully as the game progresses, she'll become pregnant. You'll see it'll look like a little stork, the whole stork holding a baby in a little bag thing. That's what it'll look like. So you'll see that eventually at some point. So yeah, that's pretty much, I've tried to cover all the major details. I know it was a lot, and I know people that are watching this are probably still confused about some aspects of the game. But like I said, it's a lot to explain, and if I wanted to just explain, I probably would never get a chance to actually play the game until like my third stream in. And again, I'll explain a lot of this stuff as I progress. But for now, I think I'm going to end it here. Yeah, I think I'm going to end it here, and I'm going to start off at the same point on Friday next week at 8 or 9. I'll let all the people that watch me know. And for those who just started watching this for the first time, by all means, feel free to subscribe, hit that like button, yada, yada, yada. And, feel free to browse my content. I hopefully will have more consistent content out soon. And, yeah, that's more or less it. But I will talk to you guys later. Um, Hopefully on Friday I'll have, you know, I can start the second part of this, and I can actually play the game, and you know, you guys can actually see what I'm talking about as I progress through the game. But at that, I'm done. I will see you guys next Friday at 8. Take care.